everyone, welcome. Thank you for coming. Cloud Next in Vegas. How's it going for everyone? Can I get a woo? Yeah.
Right? Woo!
I love it. Who hasn't slept yet? Because they're so excited to be here for this session. Yeah, good, good, good. So my name is Arthur Soroken. I have a fan base. I am at Google. I'm on the Google AI Futures Fund. It's a strategic investment fund at Google that lives in the team Google Labs. Labs is a team that built Notebook LM, Flow, et cetera. But you don't want to hear all about that, and if you want to hear about it, you can catch me at the penny slots downstairs. But we're actually here to talk about these pioneers and multimodal capabilities, and these are the pioneers who are building multimodal capabilities, AI multimodal capabilities. And so I'm actually going to have them introduce themselves. So starting with you, Matt.
Hi, everyone. So I'm Matt. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Photorum. Who has heard about Photorum in the room? Yeah, we have a few hands.
You have some work to do.
I have some work. So download Photorum. What is Photorum? So Photorum is the leading AI visual solution for e-commerce. We serve from Amazon, DoorDash, to the millions of small businesses who are selling online. So we provide the AI visual solution for that, images, videos, to help them.
Cool. Ben?
Awesome. Thanks, everyone, for coming today. I'm humbled to be here on stage with these amazing, innovative entrepreneurs and executives. So Ben, Budde, I have the pleasure of leading our revenue team here in North America at 11 Labs. I think probably everyone in this room at some point in their life has had a horrible experience with a robotic voice, and you're just like hammering zero or shouting representative. So that is ultimately why 11 Labs was born, to bring human-like speech and emotion and empathy to the masses. And so we do this across a whole variety of workflows, but really our business is broken down into three parts. We have core APIs for the builders in the room. Those APIs also power our voice agent platform. We are research-backed, highly configurable, and trusted. So we're the only voice agent that I'm aware of that's both certifiable and insurable on the market today. And then you also have the creative platform that's also powered by those research APIs. And thanks for having me.
Cool. Awesome. Ben?
Hi, everyone. I'm Ben. I'm VP Eng at Imagen. How many of you have heard of Imagen?
Woo!
Nice. Great to know. I do want to take a step back and talk more about Imagen because I think that most of the people know of Imagen as an avatar company. We are, and I think we are the category leader when it comes to talking avatar video models. But when people think of an AI video company, people often think Hollywood, cinematic. But to clarify, at Imagen, we actually don't care about that category at all. At Imagen, we really believe that video should be and can be the most effective communication tool. When it comes to using video to communicate, there are really, first and foremost, we believe that humans communicate to humans. So human wants to be spoken to and wants to communicate with another human. But not every one of us, myself included, feel comfortable sitting in front of the camera. And honestly, if you have done those sessions, it takes hours and hours and a professional crew to actually record yourself, right? So the first step that Imagen took was to replace that with a realistic AI video model. But we've gone on and expanded ourselves to do a lot more. Last week, we actually open sourced something called Hyperframes, which allows you to use code to create videos. It's just like right now, I'm trying to explain to you what Imagen is. I wish I have graphics here. I have words and messages here. And I'm sure you've watched those videos where you have those things and your video just communicates that much better. And so at Imagen, we really focus on helping our customers, our users, build videos that communicates. We are obviously enterprise grade. We have the best models, and we open source one of our best technology. So looking forward to tell you guys more about it.
Perfect, perfect. Oh, you guys can clap. Yeah. All right, so this is all about multimodal AI, and so maybe quick show of hands, who's currently experimenting with multimodal AIs? Raise your hand. Okay, it's a decent amount. How many plan to build in the next 12 months, use multimodal AI? Okay, cool. How many people are just here to learn more? Raise your hand. How many people are just trying to figure out what the session is still? Raise your hand. Okay, good. There's a few of you. Great. So I want to jump right in. You guys started to talk about your products and multimodal capabilities and what each of you guys are doing. That's kind of where you are today, but you've all been around for quite some time. And so I'm kind of curious in this Gemini era, where was, multimodal was a buzzword for some time. What was that aha moment for each of you? And so maybe we can start with you, Matt, first.
Yeah, sure. So, Photorama has been around for a few years, and I think the first experience with multimodal has been when we start generated backgrounds for your product pictures. So that was like 4 years ago. We were the first to do diffusion model for e-commerce, and I think the first story was like a failure on multimodal. So people started with an image and a prompt, and no one knew how to prompt. That was 2022, big failure, and we had to like rethink everything and really ask people to actually provide an image of what they're looking for as an inspiration. And so that's kind of the first experience of, well, 4 years ago, multimodal wasn't working great. Now, the aha moment for Gemini is like one of our most successful feature now is virtual models. So basically, you have a lot of e-commerce and large platforms are coming to Photorum to create this virtual model wearing a piece of clothing. And that's where it comes together. So really, the idea is that you can come with a prompt, but also qualify what you want. You have your piece of apparel, your model, because text is not rich enough to do that. But it kind of put it together with like the piece of clothing, the model you want, the text, the prompt to help that. And now, finally, it's working amazingly well. And so you have like big luxury brands that are launching their new collection, new drop using Photorum, and it is a big change. That was the big aha moment for us.
Nice.
For me, the first aha moment I had of this technology was about 2 years ago when I started. It was literally my first meeting with a customer. It was on my first day. It was with a nonprofit we work with called Bridging Voices. And I heard this story of a mom whose daughter had ALS and had lost her voice, and she was working through, Stephen Hawking type technology and like this robotic experience and just couldn't get anything close. And she gave us a voicemail, and we cloned her daughter's voice so that she could have a natural conversation with her daughter. And she said, "It's the most beautiful sound I've ever heard." And to me, the power of that, I'm literally tearing up in my first meeting ever. And it was, we've been telling stories as a culture and species for thousands of years. Voice is so impactful. If you think about the loved ones that you have in this world or those iconic people you look up to, their voice like that. It's so unique. And I think when it comes to the enterprises we serve, there's really power with having a voice that is worthy of your brand and that brand experience. And so for me, that was an aha moment of, wow, we can really create these amazing experiences that can actually bring people to tears and elicit that sort of emotion in a really deep way. And then as we started to launch these voices across voice agents, it was like, wow, it's really hard to nail a voice agent because you can't wait for a voice agent to respond like 5 or 10 seconds like you can for a chatbot. And so by deeply integrating with enterprises, meeting them where they are, building for them, then it was relatively easy for us to turn on, okay, we can do chat and we can do these other modalities in a cool way.
Incredible.
Incredible.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a
great story.
That's a story very hard to follow. I think I'll share two pieces more of an aha moment from a business perspective. I don't know how many of you have read about how Imagen really started. One of the things that the founders of Imagen started was that they looked on Fiverr and Upwork, and they found that a lot of people are looking for speaksperson, for those speaksperson to say a certain set of language. And so what the founders did was that they actually stood up a shop on Fiverr and help people do that. And they tell them that we're going to try to use AI to do it. If you don't like it, we will use a real human. until the point when their AI technology is good enough and they just completely change that shop to an AI speaks person shop. And that's when the business part of it really was like, wow, using AI can solve a critical business need for some of those customers. The other one, I will actually take a slightly different angle here, where I was talking about how in a video which aims at communicating, it's really important to have motion graphics, to have like images, videos, as well as like text that goes along with the speaker, whether it's just the voice or the speaker. And one of the aha moments actually came from us working together with Google and adopting Gemini 3 really, really early on. And using Gemini 3, we found that Gemini 3 is incredible at what I call visual coding. And we asked Gemini 3, we give Gemini 3 a coding task to code up this visual, that imagine that you see a visual right here. This says Gemini 3, just flies out, right? In a lot of our videos, those things are now table stakes. Our users love them because they believe that that's how that helps them communicate, whether it's training, knowledge sharing, marketing, what have you. And that aha moment came to us when Gemini 3 came up. We swapped it into our agent, and every single generation was amazing. And we were like, damn, code to video is the way to go. And that's our aha moment.
Yeah, that's great. I had an aha moment just sitting here. I was thinking, and I was telling you guys, wow, with each of your platforms, I didn't actually have to show up today. I could have used some version of your platform to replace me. Well, you guys actually started to talk about aha moments, but you also started to go into these magical tech moments for you as well. And when you think about, we've come a long way in a very short period of time, from read, write, inference to multimodal capabilities with audio and imagery and video as an input, but also as a creation tool on the output side of the model. And you guys started to walk through it, and I'm kind of curious, when I look, and I'm going to start with you, Ben, but when I look at this, using these tools is great, but it's also kind of difficult too. And so I'm actually really curious how you balance, specifically for you, speed versus compute costs, et cetera.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we all know that sometimes the AI generative models takes a long time.
Yep.
And there are definitely scenarios where we absolutely need to use things like Nano Banana, things like Veo 3. But in a lot of our scenarios, when imagine that you want Imagen to help you create a training video, a marketing video, we found that LLMs are, again, like I said, incredible at coding. And it's also really fast at coding. And the way we think about it is that in this massive neural network that Gemini or all these other SOTA models have, it actually has a ton of vectors that are visual. And when they turn those vectors into code, it's actually their mother tongue of expressing visuals. And so that's actually our biggest unlock when it comes to speed, because you're actually able to create a very full end-to-end, like 1 minute long video using code under like a minute or 30 seconds. When for a minute long video, even if you parallelize that using the best generative models, it can easily take like 5-6 minutes. And it allows you to really dig in and iterate with the model, right? When you get let's just call it, sorry Veo 3, but let's just call it, you get a Veo 3 result. And you don't like that bit. You just have to regenerate it completely. But when it's code, you can literally go to the code and modify that, or ask your agent to modify that. This might sound kind of vague, so we open sourced this technology completely. We call it hyperframes. And hyper stands for hypertext markup language, which is HTML. Frames is video frames. So we built this framework that turns HTML, CSS, and JavaScript to video frames. We launched it last week. We got 10,000 stars in just 2 days. And very excited about the future of that technology. And based on what we are seeing, we really believe that that's where agentic video editing and agentic video creation should be and will be. And we're excited about that, at least in our category. Maybe not Hollywood. Hollywood wouldn't need that, but.
Great, makes total sense. I think Ben, on the 11 Labs side, you guys are building, the best voice AI models out there. And so you actually have a similar situation where you have to think about latency as well, but you also have to think about, on the other side, the emotion aspect, so that you can, it has to feel real because you're dealing with voices and connection, et cetera. And so I'm kind of curious how you guys think about that trade-off.
Yeah, I think it really is a trade-off based on use case. So, there are some workflows and scenarios where latency doesn't matter, right? We're talking about, we work with many of the major movie studios and biggest creative agencies on the planet. And for them, it's all about emotionality and directability and how can we get the best character performance possible for that scenario. And then in other workflows where we're working with large enterprises doing like tens of thousands of calls a day, you need that real-time response. So really the balance between, quality and latency and reliability and of course cost as well. It's kind of like we're going to find the best solution with all the available models for our customers.
Yeah, that makes total sense. And Matt, over to you. You also have a similar. You have to think about, creating imagery, high quality e-commerce imagery that's reliable for your users.
Yep.
But you also have to think about consistency, and we hear a lot, just across lots of use cases, and I'm sure lots of people in here of like, it's actually quite difficult to keep brand consistency and just image consistency overall. So curious how you think about that.
Yeah, so one of the big challenge and specificity of e-commerce imagery is you really want to have this 100% product fidelity. And that's where like Photroom magic sauce and is coming. So we use kind of the best of Nano Banana in some pipeline, the best of the big models, and we also develop our own frontier models. For instance, for background removal, or we have like specific frontier model for AI shadows, where you can literally control all the angles of your shadows. So when you go on an e-commerce website, it's all consistent, and so that's important because when you want to have like a product page, what matters is you have the 100% product fidelity, and that you still benefit from the like creativity, fast process of Gen AI. So we take this balance of, based on the job to be done for your e-commerce, we pick the right model, either Gemini or either like Photroom model, so you have the best result for what you try. And really what we optimize for is product fidelity, because people buy pictures today, like that's all you see when you buy, and then they receive a product at home. And if in the workflow there's a big mismatch between the product picture and the product, then you get a return, and that's super expensive. So that's what we optimize for today.
Amazing. And actually, you guys sparked another thought in my mind as I'm going through. It's like all of you have to think about, you're all building your own models in some way or fine-tuning your own models in some way, but you also have a list of Google products that are coming at you very quickly. And I'm sure most people in this room, they're using all the models. It's quite easy to switch between all of them. The cost is getting cheaper to switch between all of them. And so I'm actually kind of curious, and I guess lots of people in here would be curious, how do you think about that? Like all that's coming from Google, what do you use versus what don't you use? And maybe we can start actually with you, Ben.
Yeah, happy to. It's been so nice here at Google Next, seeing a bunch of old friends and colleagues. I spent 11 years at Google myself, and you all have been wonderful partners. I'd say, like, even more importantly than me, certainly, is our brilliant CTO came from Google, and we have like this wonderful relationship of scale and really focus on customer. I think that's what matters the most. It's less about which model or area we're competing against, and people come to us specifically at 11 Labs for depth of voices, quality, range of voices. We have over 11,000 to be able to clone voices, create voices out of thin air. When voice really, really matters to you, whether it be to your brand or workflow, even folks that are building in the audience, to be able to say, okay, even if you have a chat agent or integrations already, we can do the voice orchestration on top of that and what we call voice engine as part of our agents platform. And I think it's really just to focus on the customer, whether it be for those range of voice options or multilingual or a configurable base. we have all the Google Gemini models in our agent platform. Those are actually our most often recommended models for the combination between the speed and accuracy. But in other cases, we're going to recommend others and work with, of course, enterprises if they bring their own custom LLM or need a more broad range of options. But it's been a wonderful relationship. We were named one of the Google Partners of the Year this year. And I think competition at the end of the day is ultimately a great thing for customers. And so we welcome it, and it's been a great relationship.
Yeah. What about you?
What I think is you have a new kind of, like with large models very powerful, you have a new kind of AI companies that like Photorum is part of, which is like a vertical expert because you need like special skill in that. And so what do these companies do? First, they make the most of the generalist models, the big models that are very powerful. Then they also train frontier models for specific use case to their verticals. So for us, it's like being the best at visual e-commerce, background removal, best in the world, AI shadows. And then there is this part of product. So you build a product that is vertically integrated for e-commerce in a way that if you're a generalist, you can't do it. So really that's our edge. And from the camera capture to like Shopify connector or working directly with the marketplaces, like we build a product in a way that no generalist model can do.
Yeah.
And give you an example, we work with like Depop, a big marketplace, and well, in a few weeks, we like increase by, like in 2 weeks, we can increase the GMV by 2% because we have this expertise of what are the images that sell. And in a world where you can create any images, what you need to do is what are the images that are going to increase your GMV. And we know that, and we help our e-commerce, our customers to do that.
Yeah. What about you, Ben?
Yeah, we as a company, for a lot of our parts of our creative workflow and creative agents toolkit, we leverage all the best models we can because I think that sometimes the customer just need them. But we also, as you all know, have our own in-house avatar models. And I do think that that is something that the larger labs will not spend this amount of time, and not only time, but also just the dedication to making one particular use case very, very, very strong. For those of you who are researchers, you would know that research is not just about data collection, algo improvements. It's really also the researcher's eye for what quality actually is. Oftentimes, researchers actually need to go in and say, this is a better output, this is not. And Imagen and our entire research team has dedicated their time to make it so that the avatar models are realistic, accurate, and very, very efficient. Sorry, Veil 3 again, but Veil 3 is about 24 cents per second. Imagen's avatar model, and also available through API for those of you who want to build anything on top of it, is about 2 cents per second. So it's like 1/10 of the cost of these larger models. I'm not saying the larger models are bad. The larger models are great to what they need to be doing, but we focus on offering models that really solve this one problem. And for the type of videos that our users are creating, they often need to create like 5, 10, 30 minutes long kind of content. And there's no way someone used Veil 3 to create that. But we can offer that level of control and that level of realism and accuracy and editability through our offerings. But even with that, we still leverage all of these other tools, whether it's 11 Labs, voice models, or Veil 3, or others, for the intermediary artifacts that a video production might need.
I think it makes total sense. I mean, if I were to give a quick TLDR to this group of what was said, I think competition is great. I think that's number one. I think, focus on what you're good at and what your secret sauce is and leverage the generalist models for what's right. But also verticalization is a moat, and I think that's totally fine, and I think that makes total sense. So I think that's great. We haven't really talked about this next thing. So you're all fully production apps, you're scaling like crazy, you're global, all of these things, these are not toys. And so I think what was, it's a two-part question. What was first, what was that thing, that killer Gemini era feature that made you, change your roadmap? And then on top of that, how did you think about production and scale, and what advice would you give to people in this room who are kind of in a similar place or going in a similar place. And then you think about scale, and not just scale, but global scale, right? Which is where all of you play. So maybe we could start with you.
Yeah, so I mean, the killer Gemini era I mentioned was a virtual model that we launched, and I mean, there are multiple like jobs that people want to do for e-commerce, and how did we make it scale is actually being quite smart about what people want. So sometimes you want like the generalist is using a hammer to like kill everything, and when you're scaling hard, well, what Photorum does well is balancing, well, generalist model that are taking a bit of time and reduce this bandwidth that you have and apply it for the simple use case that we have that actually are faster, so it reduces the load on that. And for that, what we do is we have a internal team, internal inference team, and we run, in this case, our own model, but on top of GCP, but we really optimize for speed for image generation. And so having this balance of first being smart enough about what your vertical is to be able to balance which solution, which pipeline is going to be great for this use case, and not overuse like a hammer to like do everything, and then having a research team internally that is able to optimize the pipeline to not use the biggest model, the biggest quality where the need is like quite low quality, is a great way to be able to balance and scale like globally. So this like research internally helps us a lot to scale.
Yeah, and actually, just to pile onto that, let people know, like, where is your application in the world?
Yeah.
How big is the user base so they can get an idea of this?
Yeah, so Photorum is quite big as coming from like a small businesses. We have 20 million active users. We process like almost 10 billion generated images a year, and we are in 180 countries. So you also balance your load to make sure that the enterprise level customer get like a priority, and then depending on the usage of the smaller businesses, they're a bit more patient, they are less demanding. So that's like having this this balance between your user is also helpful when you have such a large user base.
Yeah. Let's go over to you. Yeah.
For this killer feature, we're known a lot for the voice models being industry leading and the contextual understanding, because context really matters in the course of a conversation. I think to me the killer feature on top of that is really the expressivity, to be able to express certain emotion in certain scenarios where, whether you want to laugh, chuckle, whisper, to convey that extra emotion, and then in more professional settings to really be able to match the tone, whether it happens to be a frustrated customer, on a support call, or someone who's actually quite interested on more of a sales scenario, to be able to match that tone and empathy. So you have the voice, the context, but then also to be able to have the expression that really matters. As that's brought into voice agents and in combination with our field deployment engineering team, we've seen that been incredible value add for lots of different workflows across the enterprise for agents. It's support, it's training enablement, sales and marketing on the creative side. There's a lot of workflows there, but then we've all seen great AI demos. It's really hard to get something consistently at production scale globally across languages. And for me, that's where GCP has been an incredible partner. With all the right permissions, of course, we were able to work with Epic Games and bring a Darth Vader cloned voice into Fortnite, all powered with GCP. And this was the first time what I do my kids thought was cool, when they could have a conversation with Darth Vader. It was amazing. And in a short period of just 3 weeks, all with the help of GCP, we were able to have, it was like over 50 years of players' conversation with Darth Vader. And now even today, and the amount of time it takes me to say this sentence, we just created another day of audio based on everything on GCP. And so that scale really matters. The reliability, of course, the right guardrails and security for these enterprise workflows, and just the scalability as well.
I'm hoping we get Santa soon so I can get my kid to clean her room. So that would be good. Ben, over to you.
I'll get you a real-time Santa.
Hey, now we're good.
So yeah, maybe quickly to share. Imagen has maybe, actually don't know top of my head, I should. Also like 20, 30, 40 million users. I think last we announced is like 40 million users. And we process 100 million minutes of videos I think, in 2025, and it's growing rapidly. And we're approaching 200 million ARR. So we also are in, I think, 170 languages. And our video translate model is also one of the best in the market. But going back to kind of like going, what was that moment when we were like, we need to scale this thing? And I feel like I'm a broken record, but I think that it's when we saw CodeGen can generate really good motion graphics and a whole video orchestration. And literally that week, I still remember that vividly last November, we were like, damn, this is the way to go. Let's re-architect everything that we are doing today and scale that. And we powered through it. We built an entire framework that use code to orchestrate video, put motion graphics on top, animate things, et cetera, et cetera. We launched our video agent V2 in end of January. And it's been growing like crazy. And beyond that, we believe that this technology can only be better if LLMs get to be better at writing this new specification or this new code language. So we decided to open source it. That way, everyone can be building videos using this new technology. Again, if you're interested, look up our Twitter, HeyGen's Twitter, and we just open sourced it about last week. You can see all of our launch videos on there that are all made using code. And so that was when we were like, let's go. Let's really scale this. And it delivered. Our users love it. And obviously, I actually have complaints. I think GCP sometimes is down. So, but Gemini 3 Flash is one of, if not the best, quality over cost and latency model for us to be able to scale this technology.
Amazing. Yeah. Not perfect, getting better. And hopefully bringing VO costs down for you,
yes,
too.
Yes, please.
All right. So quick, rapid fire, few questions for you guys. I'd say number one word to describe the future of multimodal AI. And you guys, yeah, go ahead.
For me, it's trust, like multi-input, higher trust. So that's why I'm really excited about merging this sensor, like video, photo, text.
And trust with users.
Trust product fidelity. Like e-commerce is about product fidelity, and like how do you bring all this like information in the image? Like your agent is going to buy for you, so you need to trust the image it's buying. Like even in, like people buy picture, but agent buy pictures too in the future.
Yeah.
So you need to trust the image to make sure you receive the right thing.
Yeah.
For me, it's delight. I think there is this incredible time of innovation, and across multimodal, I think there's all sorts of experiences that are going to come in the coming years that we don't even know are coming, but just with real customer delight and put a smile on your face and get stuff done.
I think the future of multimodal AI is taste. For us, it's almost like you can see a bad PPT and you can see Apple-grade PPT. And for us, we hope that our users are able to use our technology with their own taste, but bring in the tool chain that we provide for them to be able to create Apple-grade videos for their explainers, training, marketing, et cetera, et cetera.
I hear taste a lot, and I kind of hear versions of taste. Can someone define taste up here for me, what it means, and maybe to help this group?
Well, I said taste, so maybe I can define it. Please chime in. Not a native speaker, so I can't. But to me, I think taste is really all about decision making. What do you choose to do, and what do you choose not to do? Funny enough, I'll share the open source library that we shared for code to video. The taste or the style skill that we open sourced in there is actually not to tell LLM what to do, but what not to do. And that worked phenomenally well. So I think taste is decision-making, what not to do and what to do.
Cool. Any other definitions?
Well, I'm going to go to Jensen from NVIDIA, who recently told us in a conversation with our CEO that, speech to text is science, text to speech is art. And to me, there's real power in that I'm no taste expert, but we do have a voice sommelier and all these sound engineers at 11 Labs, and what they can do with a voice and to make sure that whatever the requirements are, we just absolutely blow by them and get to a point that's like very tasteful and in line with an enterprise's brand. To me, that's the most relevant example.
I think that's the first time I've ever heard voice sommelier.
Sommelier.
I love that.
Love it.
Any other?
I think, well, when you can create everything, what's left is like taste on what you deliver. And I think one thing we don't talk too much with Gen AI is there's going to be an explosion of the number of businesses you can do. Like we're seeing it in PhotoRoom, like people start their business, like just take a picture and boom, your shop is live. And that's like the differentiation is like, what's the story behind that? What's your personality you're bringing into your media that are like going to like make people buy? And so that's, the taste is a mix of the personality, of the authenticity of the entrepreneur behind, and also us, like PhotoRoom, guiding them towards, well, if you're a restaurant, if you're a chef, like to convey the taste of the food you're cooking, we work with DoorDash, is like, how do you best represent that? Like when you can do everything, what's the best way to represent a pizza or a burger, and how do you convey the taste of the chef through images?
Yeah, I think that's right. All right, I'm gonna ask a funny question because you're all disrupting industries here, but just what's the next frontier industry to get disrupted by multimodal AI?
I think video, is coming. Like we started with images, and I worked on video editing for a few years before starting PhotoRoom, and I'm really excited because video is so difficult to own, and like so many people are going to be able to create that in like many different vertical and specifics, and it brings so much conversion to e-commerce that like it's going to make businesses and product that couldn't exist before exist. I'm very excited about that in the future.
For me, it's education. There is so much power with this technology to be able to personalize it, right, across industries. And I think we've done, all sorts of training agents where we find RAM times decreasing by like 40, 50%, employee satisfaction goes through the roof, and the engagement and the CSAT, as a representative example, are incredible. And I think that's because there's no judgment, like, is my manager here wondering what question I'm asking? You just get to ask as many questions as you want and go deep on a topic. And then there's an experience part of that too, where my kids struggle sometimes to listen to me when I'm talking about them to do their homework. But if Santa asks them, or if their favorite characters on the screen ask them, I think there's a whole nother level of engagement that's really powerful from a personalization standpoint.
I feel like the Darth Vader, I am your father, might work.
Yes, yes.
All right, good. Ben, what about you?
Yeah, I think it's communication. So it's almost it's actually, I don't think something that people think about a lot. But in our day-to-day communication, we use documents a lot. We use PowerPoints a lot, and we never thought of using videos because making videos is so hard. It's impossible, right? It's also impossible for me to hire a video team just so that I can create daily videos sent to my team. But believe it or not, in my team at Imagen, we do our weekly stand-ups using video. We just watch everyone's video. Because video creation has gotten so effective and cheap at the same time. Well, it's also in the confined category, right, like communication videos. So I really think that in a business sense, this is a whole new way of communicating that have been proven to be effective. That is why companies use videos to do training, right? That is why companies use videos to do marketing. But why can't more be done in terms of communication be done by video? So we're excited about that, and that's the entire company's strategy. And we are adopting that ourselves internally.
Yeah. Incredible. All right, quick one. One tool you can't live without for building multimodal products?
I think the key tool for that, for multimodal, is actually your phone. Like, it's something as a multimodal input that is, like, we all have in our pocket that is going to change what you can do with it and like give us superpower as small businesses. And I'd say one thing, like, we're talking to like big e-commerce platform, and they're they're kind of like closing their photo studio that they were about to invest in. Like they were saying, like, I'm going to pour like these millions of dollars into creating a new studio for the 10 next year. And when you talk to the industry, they're like, no, actually, like now a short video of a product, like 5 seconds, you put it in, or 5 photos, you put it in a photo room, and you have your full listing. And so, well, if we think about multimodal, then you need like a multimodal capture device, and we all have it. So very excited about that tool for multimodal.
You can probably guess what I'm going to lean on here. 11 Labs, voice agents, a research-backed, configurable, and trusted platform powered by all of our APIs. I think, if voice really matters, voice is not the only thing we do for sure, but we're a voice-first organization. If voice really matters, that's what I'd recommend.
All right, good. Ben?
I'm obviously very much deep in the engineering and AI research side. So my tool is called evals, or evaluations. Because when you're building AI solutions, evals is your only way to convince whether it's your customer or your competitor even that you're better, and you're doing it in the right way. Last week I was at Apple. Apple is one of our largest enterprise customers. As you can tell, Apple has very, very high standards for the output. How do I convince them that we have output? By showing one video is not enough. Because anyone can have one good video, but show them our evals is the way that they get convinced that, okay, we can trust HeyGen to give us the kind of quality that we need.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right, let's go future, but not too far, because things move very fast in the AI world. But 2027, agents can see, they can do. I'm really curious on the human creator's role. Are we collaborators? Are we, building tools? Are we co-creators? What are we? Because like I said before, I didn't have to show up. I could be at the poolside right now with all of your platforms. So, yeah.
I think you become the human become the directors of like thousands of agents helping them, and that's actually the inception story of Photorum. Is I had to do like a visual assets for promoting the app I was working on, and I literally I was focusing on the tool and not the story, and that drove me nuts. Like having to spend the day doing that as not an expert was killing me. And so I think the future is everyone is the director of their visual agents. Actually, all the images are going to be customized. So if you have 10,000 customers, all 10,000 customers are going to get this virtual try-on with the piece of clothing on top of them. And what you become? You become the brand director that checks everything is good. And our role is to build the tools that you have the right evals. So making sure if 1 or 2%, showcasing them, making sure you can control them, and validate the one that there might be a risk. And so really, they're the director. Humans are the director of the future.
Yeah.
I think for me, it's clear that no one or thing could ever replace you here, Arthur, on this stage, And ultimately, I think as technology continues to advance at this amazing rapid pace, we're all going to be directors of our workflows. And I tell my team, you're all managers now, and they have all their agents working for them and everything. And I think the same is true for storytelling. And that power of really emotional, creative storytelling. Now you're going to have even more tools, and I think all of the above for your question are true, where you've got collaborators and co-creators, and you're just that much more efficient to create amazing stories that really resonate. And I think it's going to be just a major unlock for creativity. I'm really excited about.
Totally agree.
Yeah.
Ben?
Very much agree. I think we want to enable our customers to be able to focus on the message, focus on the story. I love what you said, Matt. I think rather than spending all your time figuring out how to do this thing, just figure out what you want to do. And that is going to be the most important thing that humans, creators, communicators, educators, business owners, that's all you should and will be spending your time on. And let us take care of the tools.
Yeah, I love that. Well, we're close to time, so I'd say the era of multimodal AI is here today. We're around forever. I'm not getting replaced, so thank you. And for anyone in here, just a shameless plug as well, if you have a company, you are building something in the AI space, AI multimodal space, please apply to the AI Futures Fund. We'd love to take a look at your application. But yeah, please give a round of applause to my panelists.